Alright, so the first thing in Chapter 11 that we're going to talk about is finding the area and the perimeter of a square. And the area formula is the length of the side of the square squared, or S squared. Yes, that is an S. That's not a 5. I know that could be hard to tell when I write, but that is an S. Perimeter has a formula for a square of 4S, 4 times the length of the side. Okay, so the area for a square with a side length of 4 radical 5 centimeters would be 4 radical 5 quantity squared. So that would be 4 squared, which is 16, times radical 5 squared, which is 5. And 16 times 5 is 80. Since they gave me units, since they gave me centimeters, I want to make sure that I express my answer in square centimeters. So for the perimeter of this problem, I'm going to multiply the side length, which is 4 radical 5. I'm going to multiply that by 4. So the perimeter is going to be 16 radical 5, just centimeters. Just centimeters. Okay, a couple of things I want you to think about when we're looking at squares, and this has to do mainly when we talk about regular polygons, is that if the entire length of a side is 4 radical 5, and I were to drop a perpendicular from the center of the square, it's going to bisect the side. So that would give me 2 radical 5 and 2 radical 5. If I were to draw the radius of that square, so the radius would be the segment from the center to the vertex. This is going to create a 45, 45, 90. This radius bisects the vertex. So I have a 45, 45, 90. So 2 radical 5, 2 radical 5. If I wanted to know what the length of the radius was, I would treat it like I would any 45, 45, 90. So R would be 2 radical 5 times radical 2, which is 2 radical 10. The area formula for a regular polygon, 1/2 AP, where P is the perimeter, and we already know what the perimeter is. We solved it before. The perimeter is 16 radical 5 centimeters. A is the apothem. Sounds like opossum. So that length would be 2 radical 5 times 1/2, So area is 1/2 AP. The 1/2 and the 2 cancel out. Radical 5 times radical 5 is 5, and we still get 80. We still have units, so I have square centimeters. There are many different formulas when it comes to finding area. Okay, next case. What if, for this particular, or any particular square, what if instead of a side length, what if they give you a diagonal? What if you know the diagonal is 7 radical 6? Well, we have a larger 45, 45, 90. So you could go from the hypotenuse to find the side, you could divide by radical 2. So 7 radical 6 over radical 2 is 7 radical 3. So for this particular example, S is equal to 7 radical 3. So the area is 7 radical 3 squared. So we have 49 times 3. 49 times 3 is 147. There are no units in this problem, so my answer is going to be 147. The perimeter is going to be 4 times S for side length, or 28 radical 3. Okay, another way to do this particular problem. If one of the diagonals is 7 radical 6, and this is a square, then the other diagonal would also be 7 radical 6. If BD is 7 radical 6, AC is 7 radical 6. The diagonals of a square are congruent. So I could find the area for this one by using the formula 1/2 of the product of the diagonals. A square is a rhombus. So 1/2 7 radical 6 times 7 radical 6. So 1/2 times 49 times 6. Half of 6 is 3. And I'm back to 3 times 49 again, which is 147. Now, the only problem with this method is if they ask me to find perimeter, I'm still going to have to find out what S is. But if I just ask for area, you're covered.